Hi, my name is Stella Brown, and I'm here with Ed Marczewski, who's the Director of Public Media Institute, and we are in Kimski, which has transformed into community canteen in response to the pandemic to bring meals to people in need. And we're here to celebrate the release of the Quarantine Times book, and Public Media Institute, in partnership with the Smart Museum, is participating in their Take Care, Be Well live streaming event, which is going on all day. Stay tuned in till 8 o'clock later. And so we're going to be here for half an hour talking about the book and the work that we did on this a year ago now. If you're not familiar, Public Media Institute is a nonprofit organization. We're based in Bridgeport. If you're not familiar with that name, you would definitely know Lumpen Radio, Lumpen Magazine. Co-Prosperity Spirit is our exhibition space down the street on Oregon. and I'm, if I didn't say, I'm Stella Brown. I'm the director of Body, which is also our other branch, our store, which is opening in the Cultural Center with goods for sale from local artists. Hopefully later this spring, definitely later this spring, we're live. And this book is for sale on our website. There should be a banner on your screen where you can buy for $45. But now we want to tell you why you might want to buy this book. This came out of a project that came together super quickly last spring to bring money to artists, and it was a daily online and via email, basically newspaper. And we had editors, daily editors, bringing different artists, writers, musicians, cooks, everything creative to bring you creative content and bring them money. And Ed is the powerhouse behind making this happen and making PMI happen in general. So I'll let you talk about it a little.
Thanks, Stella. Thanks so much. We're really delighted to be here today as part of this marathon, because it's a milestone for all of us, right? About a year ago, we were all pretty much surprised by the impact that a shutdown would have in Chicago and across the country. And we were almost ready for it. As we were watching what was happening in the rest of the world, and we saw the shutdowns happening on the West Coast and East Coast, we knew something was going to happen to Chicago. But we didn't really know how prepared we could be or should be. We did know that we were going to have to shut down our businesses, shut down our gallery, cancel programming. And when the shutdown occurred, it came with a big crash. As many of you know, lots of artists, cultural workers are also working in the hospitality industry. We're all precarity workers in some sense in terms of these are gigs, these are part-time jobs. And when it hit, we realized that our immediate community that we serve as in terms of the artist world, as well as the community that works in our businesses, would be affected. So we sat around for about a couple of days to consider what kind of project could we do as Public Media Institute to support artists and cultural workers and people working in the industry. And we decided the best format we could take was by doing this chronicle, like a newspaper, as Stella said, that was explaining what people were going through during this crisis. It was brand new to us. We had no idea that the country, that the state, that the city would be a completely failed entity. We had no idea that there would be no help. We had no idea that there'd be shortages of supplies. We had no idea that we would all enter this alien dystopian landscape together and not know how to behave. So what's exciting for us is that we were to assemble our team, people we've worked with for decades, like Jeremiah Chu, people we've worked with just recently, like Stella Brown, in our Co-Prosperity Advisory Council, to create and ask artists and people in our community to tell us what they were going through. So each day we thought, oh, this is just going to be going on for a month or maybe 2 months. But as every week went by, we just kept on saying, this is never going to end. And we just kept pivoting and pivoting. There wasn't a CARES Act. We had a president that was a complete nincompoop who failed us miserably. There was no help, so we had to help each other. And the stories in the Quarantine Times are about those tales, about chefs and restaurateurs helping each other, about artists trying to figure out ways to feed each other, about people explaining how they were dealing with the psychological, social, physical damage to their existence. So we're really pleased that this book was actually able to come out to chronicle and to actually catalog a part of this history we all probably want to forget. And it's in case of this book, we're very pleased that we were able to do it. We're really excited that it's a year now. We have some hope. A vaccine has come to our state, has come to our city. We can get out of this mess. We can start getting back to a sense of what it likes to have to go to an exhibition or to go to a restaurant. And in fact, almost everything out of this project helped inform what we did the entire year. The quarantine times led for us to open up a farmer's market behind Mars Community Brewing. We formulated the community kitchen program, which became a feeding program that just kind of exploded over the past 6 or 7 months. We started feeding a couple hundred people and went to thousands. As restaurants are beginning to opening and the weather gets better, these things are going to change, but these emergencies still persist. We still live in a pandemic time, and we're here to actually continue to do the work and work with our colleagues and friends everywhere to do what we can.
Thank you, Ed. So we are going to talk to a couple people who were editors on this project. I am one of them. We had one per day, our Monday editor. So the very first post was Juan Kim, and Juan is the head chef of Kimski, where we are, and then therefore head chef of Community Kitchen. I guess more of a cooperative.
I think so, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Facilitator.
Facilitator.
There we go.
Juan is also an artist and a writer, because he wrote the Quarantine Times, and I was hoping you could share a little bit of your experience of those like early days of the pandemic, if you'd like to, maybe how the restaurant industry and Kimski had to respond, and then who you brought into the project to feature in the book.
Awesome. Yeah. First off, hello, and thanks for having me here. Really appreciate it. Happy 1 year of COVID.
Yeah,
right?
Congratulations.
I feel like we're so much far into this and made so many advancements, but still in the same spot at the same time. It's a really weird place to be. But regardless, I was the Monday editor for the Quarantine Times. I would invite industry friends of mine, food and beverage worldwide. I think the great thing about this book is that it really gave a chance for everyone to kind of have a platform, describe what's going on in their own little section, their own little bubble, their own little world. And, it started off with me, and my first entry was kind of talking about the immediate shift of trying to help my employees out. So I started an art project via Instagram and social media, and kind of just started selling small art pieces, kind of just a la auction style. Whoever wants to kind of bid and make a donation or contribution. 100% of those sales went straight to my employees here. You see one here. I swear they actually did do some work. That's Ryan. So I was able to raise about $3,500 on my own, which was great in the pandemic in the beginning. And then I got COVID, which was awesome in the beginning, which meant I had a really bad strain. I was out for about 2 months, but during the 2 months, with projects like this, it helped me stay afloat and keep my brain sharp and kind of still working in a sense, still facilitating, still coordinating, still kind of delegating things to get this project up and help, as a whole. And I got pneumonia from it, which was dope. Went to the emergency room 2 or 3 times. I became a regular. It was fantastic. I only thought I was gonna die once, so that's good. So I still have antibodies a year later, which is kind of wild as well. But that's how I started the COVID season. And right after that, we just kind of we pivoted into the community canteen model, community kitchen model rather, where we started 1 day of service, servicing the senior citizens of Bridgeport, handing out meals to the community, just to kind of direct. And because of the funding through PMI and Ed and Mike and the whole family, we were able to bring in other chef friends of mine who were also struggling and losing business. So we were able to fund their efforts in helping us with our efforts and further building community in that sense in the food and beverage world. That model, as winter quickly approached, we everything we do here, partnership-wise, starts off as a joke. This whole business must start off as a joke. How do we make Korean Polish food? Is that even a thing? Well, let's just try it and laugh about it if it fails miserably. So 5 years later, we're here feeding the community for free now. What started off as a joke, and even this program was kind of like, well, you know, we were just kind of thinking, winter's really tough pre-COVID. So what can we do? It'd be awesome if we could just like feed people for free every day. Wouldn't that be hilarious and awesome? And sure enough, 2 months later, we're here 5 days a week, feeding people for free or pay what they can. And again, through the funding of this program, we're able to bring in a lot of other restaurants. I say to this date, we've worked with over 25 chefs around the city, pastry chefs, you know, beverage people, even like cannabis companies were involved with the funding. Red Bull made a nice contribution. So there were, you know, there were companies out there interested in helping out. It was just a matter of seeking them out and just kind of presenting this program to them. And what turned off, again, another great joke turned into something successful and helpful to the community. And honestly, I couldn't, you know, Ed mentioned it before, but this is through no government assistance. This has to be clear that art is essential in this case. The creatives came up with this idea. It wasn't a matter of like making a video, pleading our case to the government, who didn't give a crap about anything happening. It was through organic, grassroots style, just planning, just like the early '90s when Ed was like 50. So that organically turned into this project, and this in a way it's almost like an art installation, a prolonged art experiment that worked out well and it really benefited people. So in that sense, the creatives came through again, thought, we're thinking outside the box, which is, our responsibility as creatives to do. And we figured out a solution that benefited thousands and thousands of people. And we're able to bring in other restaurants and other canteens and set up other community kitchens. It also inspired other restaurants to do stuff. So the project's been great. And now it's sunny outside finally. Yeah.
And by the way, you can come here today and eat, right? Do you want to tell us what's on the menu today?
Yeah, so this week we have food from Fat Rice up in Logan Square.
Ooh.
They made a dessert, a cranberry cookie. We have Wazwan Supper Club. It's like a Pakistani, Indian style pop-up. They're opening a brick and mortar soon. They made a chicken chutney and a mushroom masala.
Nice.
And then the soup was made by our own Sarah Coletta. She made an Irish style stew in lieu of St. Patrick's Day.
All around the world.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've had the food, not today, but it is good.
Yeah.
And like we said, you can come here. We're at 31st and Morgan until what time?
12 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
And it's paid what you wish. Nothing at all is totally fine. And I just wanted to say that the sales of this book are going right back to PMI, which also supports Community Kitchen. So by buying a book or coming here and donating for your meal, you're supporting this whole thing. Yeah. And then we are going to next take a little tour from the kitchen to the front. You'll see how you can put a little bit when you come get food, and then we're going to
What a tour!
Yeah. We're going to speak to another editor of the Quarantine Times. All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So this is normally Kimski. This would be where you sit, but we are closed down. And you will enter through the side. We've got like a one-way entrance. It's super safe. Everybody's masked. We ordered up here, and I just wanted to point out that we also, Public Media Institute was also able to put together this Mutual Aid Chicago publication, and it, first of all, lovely illustrations, but more importantly, it shows all across Chicago where you can get free food, where you can get food if you need it, and where you can donate food if you have the means to do so, which is fantastic. And these are here, and these are also at other, I believe they're at Mars. We have them at Co-Prosperity. And we're gonna go out to the lovely patio, which maybe one day soon you can actually sit on. So the next person we're gonna speak with is Stephanie Manriquez, sitting in the sun looking beautiful. I guess I'll join you back there. Oh my God, I feel like I'm in LA and it was never winter. So, hi, Stephanie. Stephanie you do so many things. So I'm going to try and say what you do. Stephanie works with PMI in a ton of ways. She is the editor of Contratiempo.
Yes.
She produces radio programs for Lumpen Radio. She runs the multilingual radio program, which is an education program that's involved. She's also involved with WLPN doing education. And she was the Tuesday editor. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I wanted to invite you to maybe tell us a little about, we kind of did it by theme. So Juan was the food editor, for example. I was the Sunday editor, and we presented more specifically like visual arts, and we presented members of the Co-Prosperity Programming Council. So maybe you can speak about the type of artists that you supported with your day, and maybe share one or two that you were interested in.
Yes.
I mean, they're all good.
They were amazing. It was really hard to choose one. I think I was reflecting this morning about what do we wanted to achieve at the beginning, but I think the main goal to collect these stories, it was kind of like to process.
Yeah.
Every single day through the pandemic.
Because it was so early.
It was so early. It was a lot of uncertainty, and I think that thing was healing for a lot of people who were before us, and a lot of thinkers and a lot of creators. And yeah, I know that. And what I try to achieve on Tuesdays is to bring the POC matters to the conversation. So we selected a variety of people, from pie makers, or people who were struggling because they were out of their jobs and then they needed to create something to survive. A lot of teachers that were struggling through how to talk to their students and then had to switch that modality. That was a lot of work and a lot of effort to put that together. We also talked to people from the nightlife, not only producers and musicians, but also photographers and people who actually got laid off and they were like freelancers. So I talked a lot with freelancers that they didn't have the opportunity to collect their money from the government. So how the system was not prepared for the freelancers, for the nightlife, for the culture, and for the arts. So I focus mostly on that.
Yeah. And I think it was also, I'm just thinking now about the diversity of people that we had in here, and every editor was able to bring a different type of person in. And there's a huge range of ages. And I helped with some of your editing, or I was lucky enough to see it before it went on live. And it was a lot of young people, even I think high school students, which was, I think that was great to bring. You really brought in a nice group of people to give support to.
Yes, we invited a lot of youth, and also because we wanted to tell the stories that they were happening to them. So yes, I collaborate. I work at WLPN, and we do the radio show, the youth radio show in Lumpen Radio. But they also were concerned to tell their own stories, and so we were able to capture their concerns as a youth, as living in a low-income neighborhoods, and all the deficiencies that those neighborhoods had, and the struggle of their families, and how they had to carry all that weight on them to actually overcome, and they had to grow really fast. Like it was the pandemic, I think, gave a lot, in a good and a bad sense, to people to unlearn and relearn.
We were going to show the inside of the book, this lovely book, which we're encouraging you to purchase. I was going to flip to maybe one that I helped to edit, because I can speak towards that. So I was the Sunday editor, and we featured every Sunday a different member of the Co-Prosperity Programming Council, another joke, intentionally hard to say, who helped program the space. And one of those, and it's made up of Chicago artists and arts administrators. And one of those artists is Manal Kara, and they produced this video, almost like a visual poem called Coronavirus. And I think it was filmed and produced right in that moment, specifically for this project. And this is organized chronologically. So you can kind of flip through the year and see it in real time. And this is, I believe this is one of your posts, right, Stephanie?
Yes,
This is the nightlife photographer you were mentioning.
Chicago. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that that is important in the way that the restaurant industry was affected. Like you said, the nightlife industry was affected and is still affected. So this is a 500 page book. You can see all of the work that went into it. We're so happy that we were able to get funding to not only pay artists every single day for what they did, but also put this into documentation as a sort of like record of everything that we learned. And you'll see it's like full color, designed by Jeremiah Chu. It's beautiful. And I am so happy to have been part of it and be an editor and be able to take one of these home. There's comics, there's illustrations, there's writing. Again, I hope there's a banner on our screen for you to click and buy. And speaking of jokes again, the big joke on Buddy is 100% of our sales go directly to artists. We're running a free store. So if you're interested in buying this, take a look at the other things that we have for sale and think about supporting Chicago artists. Everything in there is local. So it looks like we have a little time left. I think we could share another post or two. Do you have, I guess I'm calling it a post, an entry. Do you want to, we could talk a little bit more in length about one or two.
I collected, one of the first ones was by Betty Heredia, and I loved it, and I loved all of them. But this Betty was talking about the revolution in her mind, the revolution of an evolution. And that's when the masks were like something, an object. So she actually reflects on how the life post-COVID will be, and how these artifacts or these objects will become part of an history, right? And into that, she was also reflecting in how I was doing this as an art piece, but how she was collecting all this information. She did this test where she painted this mask with avocado seeds. It was a fail because we couldn't wear these masks because you can turn it into yellow. It was like
it was dyeing
color.
your skin. Oh,
But that was beautiful. I don't know if we have time to read a little bit of what she said.
Yeah, we could read a passage.
She was saying, however, what can I do? I can start with my own revolution. How will that look? What does that involve? I can begin by questioning my condition. I can ache with comfort in myself, even the part of me that is a beast at the throat. I was on the brink of my own revolution. I thought I was practicing gratitude, but now I see it wasn't enough. For a revolution to occur in this country, we must let go for our conditioning. We must understand as individuals, the only permanence is impermanence. The times are demanding that we let go. What should remain with us longer after the vaccine is made available for all of us? What will let go or even forgetting better times? So
it's crazy all the things that they're talking about that are now, we're a year later and there's the vaccine. And I think the like starting the revolution really gets me because it's before the summer and everything that happened this summer with all the protests. And it was like in those really early days, we were already thinking about how this was going to change the world, knowing it was going to change the world without knowing what was going to happen.
Something else that I would like to share if we still have time. That was very impactful because yes, we talked about the youth a lot in here, but something that shocked, I think, quarantine times, that was after George Floyd dead, and that thing was that it was not it was unexpected. It was something on top of what was happening in our lives. So, oh my gosh, this is really thin. But some of these articles made us cry. So it was the process.
Absolutely.
Like writing them, it was not easy because a lot of people were digesting. So this was an article that was put together in after the protest.
Yeah.
But how they were coping with that protest, how they were digesting all of the things that happened that day, because the youth were the people who were in the front lines at times, just because they were in a safer position. So I would like to read again a little passage from Gloria Nine Valle, and that's May 30th, Dismantling Power.
And I think this was just at the very end. Maybe we had even ended quarantine times, but this happened the protest happened right at the very end of it. And we thought it was so important that we did a couple more posts and added this to it. And
Yes, exactly. So it says, as a minority in Chicago, I'm familiar with madness. I tried to not lose sight of my companions, and it became difficult to stay together as we ran disoriented with no true destination. A part of me wanted to find a quick way out of the area, but another part of me feared for the lives that can potentially be in danger if witnesses leave. My job was to be there and be useful to anyone who may need me. Although that was not the plan, I was willing to improvise and move accordingly. I kept my eyes open and took the experience as a whole. When the stores got broken, I observed the adrenaline that pumped people to rush for clothes and shoes. Folks did not fight or hurt each other. Instead, crowds cheered and looked out for people who benefited from the destruction. People destroyed downtown as a reaction to their true feelings. Evidently, they are constructing the next generation steps in the agenda. People of all ethnicities were part of these actions as they shared the discomfort happening. Now the focus is on, the attention is here, destroying the lines of generational trauma to create a new future and dismantling the power of authoritarian bodies.
Yeah, and that's it. I think there are some beautiful photos associated with that one too. It's okay, you closed it, yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm glad it was a beautiful sunny day so we could sit here and talk.
Thank you.
And maybe soon we'll both have our vaccine and we can see each other without masks on.
Yes.
Just saying one more time, thank you for watching and joining us. We've got this book for sale. Buddy will be opening at the Cultural Center pretty soon, later this spring to the public, and you can come and flip through it and take a look. Or if you'd like it now, I'd love to personally wrap it up and ship it to you. Yeah, it's a beautiful big book, and I think it's like some of it is like joyful, some of it is sad, but it's all an archive of this moment in time that I think is like a really beautiful thing to have. And I was so honored to be a part of this project and so happy to be working with Public Media Institute that does such great work like this. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of the Take Care, Be Well streaming podcast. Stay tuned for performances. And up next is there's something great up next that I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's good, and stay tuned.